Welcome back to Teshkid FX for another price prediction update, and in this video I'll be giving you a price prediction update on Vechain, whose current price stands at the $0.02189 mark, and here on TradingView the market is up by 0.27%. And in this video I want to give you the key scenarios that I expect to play out, basing my analysis on the Elliot waves and the Fibonacci's, and also the key areas of support and resistances, and also draw out the key chart patterns that you have information on this chart. And I'll kickstart the video by giving a brief of what has been happening on this chart. Vechain from the all-time high has been seeing lower prices in this massive ABC corrective movement, which has now taken us back to around the $0.02 mark. And after making that low here on the daily chart, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side, managed to break above key areas of resistances, but at the key area of resistance at around the $0.03362 mark, we got rejected, and we are seeing a massive pullback to the lower side. Jumping to the 4-hour chart for further analysis. Here on the 4-hour chart, after making our low down there, we saw a very nice bounce to the upper side in a movement that I was terming as an Elliot wave structure, having that as the wave 1, then a wave 2, a wave 3, then I expected a wave 4, and then a wave 5 to complete a higher Elliot wave count 1. And that movement to the upper side got invalidated the moment our wave 4 over here retraced into that high of the first wave. And having done so, I had to remove the Elliot wave structure from my charts and view this movement to the upper side as something else. And the only way we can view that movement as is just an ABC corrective movement, making our high at around the $0.03376 mark. And after making the high for that ABC corrective movement, whatever we expect next on this other side is the formation of a 5-wave structure to the lower side, and I believe that is what has been playing out here on the Vechain chart, having this as the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then a wave 5, making our low at around the $0.02133 mark. And having seen this movement to the upper side in this 5-wave structure, we can now name that as a higher Elliot wave count 1. Starting with the long-term scenarios that can play out on this chart. After seeing the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 1, whatever we expect next is the formation of a higher Elliot wave count 2. And because a wave 2 is a retracement of the first wave, we can use the Fibonacci's to get a minimum target area to the upper side in the formation of that second wave, connecting the fibs from the high of that wave 1 to the low of that wave 1, and that gives me a minimum target area between the fib level 0.618 and the fib level 0.382 as a minimum. And I can mark that target area here on the charts like that, and that target area lies between the $0.029 mark and the $0.026 mark. So there is a possibility that Vechain can give us a bit of a pump to the upper side if it continues to obey the Elliot wave structures, and that movement I would expect it to get us into this target area. And once that happens and we maximize the formation of a wave 2, then I would expect a very nice impulsive movement to the lower side in the formation of a wave 3, and that would mean maybe the low for Vechain is not yet in, but Vechain can prove me wrong in case in that formation of a wave 2 we continue pushing higher and manage to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.029 mark and continue pushing higher. And in that movement I would also expect Vechain to manage to break above the fib level 0.78 fib level, and that lies at around the $0.031 mark. So in case that movement plays out and we continue pushing higher that way, then that will be invalidating my Elliot wave structure to the lower side in a 5-wave movement, giving us a new low here on the Vechain chart. So that is the first possible scenario that I expect to play out, basing it on the Elliot waves. And for that to play out, I will also expect a very nice increase in volume here on the Vechain chart, and maybe also in the whole crypto market. So let's be patient and see how that plays out. Also, viewing this chart from a wider view, we have the formation of a chart pattern, which is a head and shoulders pattern. And if I draw it out here on this chart, we can have this as the left shoulder of that head and shoulders pattern. Then we have the head right there. Then we have seen the formation of the neckline. Then we have seen the right shoulder. Then after the formation of the right shoulder, we have not yet seen a breakout out of this head and shoulders pattern. Whatever we have been seeing is much of a consolidation right here, and this is a chart pattern that normally breaks to the lower side, having the target area of that breakout as the height between the head and the neckline. So using a trend line, we can get the height between the head and the neckline. Once we get that height, we can take that height and place it down here to give us a minimum target area to the lower side, and that gives me a minimum target area back to around the $0.011 mark. So there is a possibility that in case Vechain continue to see low volumes and an increase in the selling volume, there is a possibility that Vechain might be able to break out of this head and shoulders pattern, lose that key area of support at around the $0.02 mark, continue pushing lower and give us a breakout out of that head and shoulders pattern, having a minimum target area back to around the $0.01 mark. So we also need to have that in mind. Also within this consolidation, this gives me the short-term scenarios that can play out here on the Vechain chart. So within this consolidation, Vechain has been trading within this channel, which is an ascending channel, but we have seen a breakout out of the channel to the lower side, and after seeing that breakout right here, we saw a retest of that lower side of the channel, and it seems like the retest has been a success because we have continued pushing lower in this movement right here, and this would mean Vechain, there's a possibility of Vechain continuing to unlock even lower prices, and that could take us back to around the $0.02 mark, which is a key area of support down here. And in case that happens, then I will also have to adjust my Elliot wave structure, having the wave 5 low as the low that we make down here, maybe at around the $0.02 mark, in case that is where Vechain takes us next. And in case that happens also, I will also have to adjust my target area for that second wave to the upper side, because we'll be having a new low, and there's a possibility that in case Vechain continues to unlock lower prices and get us back to around the $0.02 mark, which is a key area of support, there's a possibility that we might find support and see a very nice bounce to the upper side, and maybe that movement could enable us manage to break above the key area of resistance at around the $0.024 mark, have a successful retest, and get us into this target area in the formation of a wave 2, then before we see another massive breakout to the lower side in the formation of a third wave. There is also a possibility that in case we get back to around the $0.02 mark and continue pushing lower, lose that key area of support, then the worst case scenario for Vechain will be playing out, because I would expect to also see a breakout out of this head and shoulders pattern, because we'll be breaking out of this consolidation that we saw after forming a head and shoulders pattern. And in case that happens, then my target area will be back to around the $0.01 mark. So let's be patient and see how that plays out here on the Vechain chart, and I'll keep you updated. Also taking a look at the indicators to see what movements will be supported. On the RSI, we are trading at around the 32 mark, and that means we have massive room for us to support any movement to the upper side in the formation of that second wave. We also have a bit of room for us to support any movement to the lower side before we get into the oversold region. Also taking a look at the MACD, on the MACD we printed a bearish cross, and that would mean lower prices could be coming our way. So there is a possibility that Vechain very soon is making a new low right here. So let's be patient and see how that plays out, and I'll keep you updated.